Welcome back. Well, I made it back from the big box store. This is heavy duty construction adhesive, and it's a silicone, so it's also a sealant. So I got 2 tubes of these. This is what I'm going to use to put down my sink. Seal it and glue it down. It's been a few days. I did some purchases on Amazon. Sorry, no big knife. Already opened the box. I was curious what they look like. These are my 5-gallon jugs. Purchased 4 of these on Amazon for like 50 bucks, delivered to the house. They've got a nice big lid on them, which I could actually take and drill that out to put my drain hose in, or my pickup hose for my fresh water. They're actually vented. Pretty cool. And what I did was I ended up getting 4 of them. So I got 20 gallons total for this portable concession sink. So I got 4 of those. We're going to be getting into those here, shortly. What else did I get? Some 3/4 inch hose. That's that's 10 feet of 3/4 inch hose, regular push-on hose. Doing it completely different this time than my food truck. My drain's going to be simple. This is allowed if you're going to use a portable tank like I've got there, portable wastewater, portable freshwater. So this is going to be my drain hose. Hang on, I'll explain. I have 4 sinks, so I ordered 4 of these right here. And these are exterior evacuation drain traps. They're made to screw directly on an 1.5 inch drain. It's a little trap system with a bowl at the bottom, and it's got the 3/4 push-on fitting. So those are going to get screwed to my 1.5 inch drains, and I'm going to take my 3/4 hose and come off the back of it, and I'm going to connect them in series, and then it's going to go down to my wastewater tank. How simple is that? I also got some hose clamps for this. I don't think I'm going to need hose clamps because this is a push-on fitting, but I've got them for whatever, just in case. Hose clamps, by the way, Amazon. Went by and picked up the rest of my push-on fittings that I need from PEX. Actually, back up. These are the 1/2 inch PEX fittings that I'm going to use. My water distribution center under here for the fresh water and the hot water, I think I'm still going to do that in PEX, so I went ahead and got some of these for PEX. A lot cheaper on Amazon, folks, than the big box stores, but I ended up getting the fittings that I needed for my 3/4 inch hose. I got the 3/4 inch push-on tees and the 3/4 inch elbows. So the tees will be between each sink. The elbows will be at the last sinks. And then there'll be a tee like this going down to my drain bucket, my 5-gallon drain bucket. What else did I get? Nothing left to do but shut up and get to work. So what am I going to do first? I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take these fittings, because I don't want to glue down the sinks until I'm actually done doing all the hardcore screwing and stuff. And off camera, I went ahead and I screwed in my drains. I used the plumber's putty. It came with a paper gasket, and I just did plumber's putty instead. Just roll out a nice long string of it, wrapped it around there, and then I securely tighten these. Now, if this doesn't fail, this should screw right onto my drain. And I'm going to make it when I'm finished to where my hose is exiting through the back of the sink, because I want all my drains on the back side of all the sinks. I think what I want to do is I actually want to leak test this. Once I got one screwed on here, just make sure I don't need to use Teflon tape there. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw the rest of these on all the bottom of my sinks. I'm gonna do a leak test and I'll come back and let you know the outcome of that. If you have any questions, shoot me a question on this portable concession sink. When I searched YouTube and the interweb, a lot of the concession sink builds are 2, 3, 4 years old. So I'm hoping to put an up-to-date one on here, give you some good ideas in case you want to build your own. Save some money, of course. While we're waiting on these sinks to dry really good, we're gonna go ahead and put the faucets in. So these are 1/2 inch, hold on the right. So we're gonna stick these in the holes I already made. Okay, I got the washer and a little thumb screw. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them down. We're getting into some plumbing. That's what we're doing. We are getting into plumbing. It'll line it up nice and square. Don't tighten it too tight. This chrome plated plastic may not survive. May not survive. I got one more side to do here. Snug them down nice and tight. All right. Now what I got some of these 1/2 inch PEX connectors, and you see in here they got the little rubber diaphragm in there that seals to the bottom of the faucet. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the PEX that I have, and we are going to attach these. I'm going to do 4 of them, 2 reds and 2 blue, and I'm just going to screw these to each faucet. And I'm just going to let them hang down a little ways. If you remember too, there's 2 types of PEX. There's a PEX A and there's a PEX B. I'm using the crimp style PEX, not the expansion PEX. Remember, with a clamp style PEX, you don't get a true 1/2 inch because all your fittings are actually less than a 1/2 inch. If you use the expansion PEX, then all your fittings are 1/2 inch. I don't know if that explained it very well. But we're going to go ahead and clamp this on. My handy dandy clamp here until my little light comes on. My little light came on. That means I've got it clamped, and I'm going to release it. And there is one fitting ready to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 4 of these, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, at this point I've got the 2 faucets in, the 2 short hoses that I installed are in. Right there, you see my traps for all of my sinks with a drain coming out the back. There's my hot water heater and my 20 gallons of tanks there for fresh and waste. So like I said, I don't know exactly where I'm going to put my pump yet and wire in my hot water heater and stuff like that. So I'm going to come up with a plan for that, and then we're going to come up with go ahead and probably cut those drain lines and go ahead and get the drains installed. My T is probably going to come down somewhere right in here, and it's going to come down, and my wastewater is going to be these 2 buckets on the outside. So the hose will just come down and drain, and then when I fill one up, I could fill another one up. But that looks like a good spot for it to come down. So let's go ahead and get started on installing the drain lines. I got the drain octopus built, if that's what you want to call it. It's got my short fittings to go to all my traps. I got 1, 2, 3 of those. I have got a T here that's going to go down to my drain bucket, and I've got the hand wash sink at the end. So, and these push barb fittings are like no joke. So I'm not using the hose clamps on these. The push fittings on my traps they look a little weak. So I am going to use hose clamps on all my fittings on my traps. But these, I struggle getting these things on. They're really good. That's not going to leak. Knock on wood. It's not going to leak. So let me go ahead and get these pushed on here. Okay, for my drain lines, what I think I'm going to do is just take the 3/4 inch and I'm going to put it on the barb fitting here on the P-trap, and I'm probably going to cut a small section of it, and then I'm going to put my 90 or my T here, and then I'm going to cut another one over here and put my 90. So I'll bring these two together so it'll look something like this when I bring them together, and then I'll build another T here, and then I'll build a T here, and I'll come off the hand sink with a 90, and then it'll come straight down into the bucket like so. Whenever I clean this out a little bit, it'll go right in the bucket. I got some more of these lids on order, ones that I can actually cut and size for what I want to do with my hoses. Okay, my last hose clamp, and then we'll get this thing. Alrighty, got them all hose clamped in. Let me take you off the tripod and then I'll take you in there and show you. Okay, here we go. Close up. Got my first sink, got my 90 in. It's coming down. Got my T in, got my clamp in. It's coming down. I got a little bit of a slope on it. Teed in there. And there's the drain that I was talking about that goes to my bucket. There's my other 90. And right down there's my buckets. So that's a wrap on the drain. So let me think about how we're going to do this water supply now, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so off camera, I went ahead and I got my hot PEX and I got my cold PEX. I just put 90s in there and I've ran it. There's a T there where it goes up to my 3 sinks. And then I got another T where it goes to my 3 sinks, the hot water. And then I got them coming over here and I just got them just laying out here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mount my water pump and figure out how I'm going to get my water from my freshwater tanks to my water pump into the cold side and then in the cold side of my hot water heater. So stand by, let's mount this water pump. Okay, so I got my water pump mounted with my head down, and now I just got to plumb over and plumb up, but I'm going to take the hot water heater out because I got to go ahead and put the fittings on the hot water heater that I'm going to use. So we'll get started on that. Okay, so I went ahead and set up my pickup tube for my freshwater into my pump, and I hooked up my 3/4 inch drain to my T for all my sinks. So that is completed. And as far as my cold water side on my pump, I've got the cold water coming out. I've got it teed down, and so it'll fill my hot water heater. And then I got it going up, simply connected to my, I got an elbow up there, and it's simply connected to my faucets straight across. Like, I think I showed you that in a previous video. The hot water, simply all I had to do was come out of the hot water tank and go straight up to my 90 there. And that goes across to one sink, one faucet. And then over here is the other faucet. Got my tanks in. Went ahead and put a little divider down there just so it kind of stays in place. So I just got a couple of finishing touches and then we're going to be done with this concession sink project. So stand by. Okay, so what I did here was I went and purchased some 1/4 inch. It's just that brown pegboard, but it don't have the pegs in it. I want to make this removable in case I ever have to get in here to work on it. So I got some of this 1/4 inch board, and I am simply going to just put it right in here, and I'm going to screw it down. And I got 3 sides. I'm not going to do the front side. I'm just going to do the 3 sides. So let's get it ready to screw in. All right, I got it right where I want it. And what I did was, again, I took some screws and I spray painted the heads blue. So when they go in, they'll kind of blend in. And if I ever take this off, I can just pull it right off. So that happens. No biggie. Okay, I'm just going to go around. I'm going to screw this in. I'll put the sides on and we'll get it done.